Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for coming today. My name is Andy Voda, and I'm the chair of the Burlington Democratic Party. I will be joined today by Councilor Becca Brown-McKnight, who will be hosting today's caucus. It is now 3:01 p.m., and I would like to open this nominating caucus of the Burlington Democrats for Town Meeting Day 2025. Today's caucus is for district city council seats and inspector of elections and ward clerk for each of the 8 wards in the city of Burlington. Let me explain how today is going to work. I'll first share some remarks, and then we will nominate candidates for ward clerk and inspector of elections. I will then turn the microphone over to Councilor Becca Brown-McKnight, who will host the remainder of the caucus. Becca will explain the rules, and then we will hear from the candidates themselves. At 4 p.m., ballots will be sent out electronically, and at 5:30 p.m., voting will end. We expect to announce the results around 6 p.m. via email and at btvdems.org. So I want to thank the 520 people who registered to participate today, which is a great number. You're allowed to clap to that. And I want to thank, first and foremost, all the people who have worked very hard putting this caucus together. I want to especially call out and thank Hannah King for your great work, Hannah. Thank you so much. This is an event completely organized by volunteers, and it takes quite a bit of effort. I'd also like to thank Town Meeting TV for live streaming this event. You all provide an invaluable service to our community. I would also next like to recognize and thank City Councilor Joan Shannon, who is retiring from City Council service, and congratulate her on her more than 2 decades of dedication to the city of Burlington. Joan has been a steadfast advocate for our community, and we are deeply grateful for her many contributions. So I'm going to say a few words about Burlington and what's before us. We're in a profoundly challenging moment in this city. Affordability, housing, public safety, and the drug and mental health crises are impacting everyone in our community. Our Democratic city councilors have been working extremely hard and making progress on these issues. There is still so much to do, and there is understandable frustration that 9 months into this new administration, enough progress has not been made. The 12 people sitting in the city council chairs in Contoy's auditorium will have a big impact on the decisions that are made and the direction that our city goes in. Our councilors are an important check and balance to the administration. We may all agree on the challenges we face in Burlington, but how we address them and how we vote are quite different. Currently, Democrats hold a majority on the council. It's imperative that we defend the 3 district seats that have been held by our coalition, East, North, and South, to maintain this majority. As Democrats, we are principled, but we know the importance of being pragmatic. We know that actions and not words is what improves the condition of our city. And we know that it is what brings us together, not what drives us apart. That is how we will move forward. Town Meeting Day is 58 days away. I'm calling on all of you to step forward, volunteer, donate, and help out this election. Please go to btvdems.org, make a donation, and contact us to get involved. Please don't just be a Democrat for a day. Please show up every day between now and Town Meeting Day on March 4th. I look forward to you hearing from our district council candidates in just a moment directly. I'm very inspired by the people we have running, and I think that you will be too. But before we get to the council, I'm going to start with some nominations for the people who are the backbone of our democratic system and the integrity of our elections themselves, and those are the ward clerks and inspectors of election. So we have a slate to move forward, and is there a motion to move the slate?
Yeah, I move the following slate of nominees for ward clerk, Ward 1, Sue Alnick, Ward 4, Amy Olofsky, Ward 8, Eileen Blackwood, and for inspector of elections, Ward 8,
Okay. You may not have heard that on the stream, so I'll say that out loud. This is a motion for Ward Clerk, Ward 1, Sue Alenick, Ward 4, Amy Belowski Branch, Ward 8, Eileen Blackwood, and for Inspector of Elections, Ward 8, Lynn Goyette. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor McKnight. Okay, so moved. So these nominees will be on the electronic ballots that you will receive later if you are in one of the wards mentioned. Now, also, we will accept nominees from the floor for these positions per our bylaws. So I will now open floor nominations for Ward Clerk and Inspector of Elections. These nominations will close at 3:30. To make a nomination, email burlingtondems@gmail.com or call 802-242-1871. I'll repeat that again, burlingtondems@gmail.com or 802-242-1871. You must be registered for the caucus to make a floor nomination, and again, these will close at 3:30 p.m. So, it is now my honor to pass over the chair duties to our Ward 6 City Councilor, Becca Brown McKnight. Becca was elected to represent Ward 6 on Town Meeting Day of 2024, and I'm so pleased that she is here with us today. So over to you, Becca.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Andy. And on behalf of all the Council Democrats, I really want to thank Andy as well as all the volunteers here. You have all dedicated hours and hours of your life to make this possible today, and it is really so appreciated. And I also want to thank everyone here virtually who is showing up to participate in our municipal democratic process. It's really important. So I have two goals today as your MC of this caucus. The first is to introduce you to our exciting and inspiring slate of candidates. And the second is to really impress upon you the urgency of this moment in our local governance and the importance of getting involved in any way that you can and staying involved. Council Democrats are in our second year holding majority, and we have been using it. Our collective voices and legislative power are an absolutely crucial tool in providing collaborative balance to the mayor's progressive administration. Today I brought some receipts for you to tell you a few ways that we have used our majority to take action. We started out by negotiating additional public safety funds in the city's budget. We secured extra police patrols during the holiday shopping season. We strengthened our trespass ordinance. We're always working to hold the mayor accountable on things like encampment removal in our parks and graffiti cleanup. We supported the creation of hundreds of new housing units that will be coming online during the next 12 months or so. We've also strengthened penalties against negligent landlords. We passed a resolution aimed at reducing needle litter across the city. We put a charter change on the ballot that will ban guns in bars to keep us safer. We also stopped a ballot initiative that would have diverted safety funds away from our first responders. All along the way, we've been advocating for fiscal responsibility. And with a tough budgeting process ahead of us this coming year, that will be even more important. But most of all, we've listened to you. And when we hear what you need, we don't stop there. We take action. Being a Democrat in Burlington means having a commitment to being responsive to your constituents and helping all of you navigate the city government when you need to. If we lose this majority, our ability to do more things like this will be severely diminished. Interestingly, I learned there has never been a progressive majority on the council when we've also had a progressive mayor. And frankly, the idea of being in that situation is concerning to me, because the challenges we face here in Burlington require more than just one group's ideas. They require advocating for our community as a whole, especially for our children, who are often the first to be negatively impacted. It is not productive to divide neighbors with wedge issues. We need to unite our community, our common future, and our values in order to come together in building this brighter future for Burlington. For example, to fix the housing crisis, you have to consider both renters and homeowners. To fix the public safety crisis, we need to support the police department as well as complementary public health and safety measures. And as we work to fix things for all of us, we can also make sure we stand up for the marginalized among us. It is not either or, it is both and. We need both principle and practicality. Our goal as the Council Democrats is to provide that balance in City Hall, to continue advocating for boundaries and expectations that improve quality of life for all of us, for policies that make our home a safer place, and to center the entire population of this city when decisions are made. So I'll stop there because now it's time for me to stop talking and introduce you to our slate of candidates. I have had the good fortune of getting to know all of them over the past few months, and I am really proud already to call them my colleagues. We have a diverse mix of voices that includes professionals, public servants, and parents, and sometimes all of those things at once. And I know they will all bring their impressive skills and life experiences to the table and work tirelessly to make Burlington better. So here's what the lay of the land will be for the next section of this caucus. We will hear from the candidates for our district city council seats. All of these candidates today have met the deadline for submitting their names per our bylaws, so there will be no nominations on the floor for district races. Each candidate has someone here to nominate them. The nominators will have up to 2 minutes to make their speeches, and candidates will then have up to 5 minutes to make their speech. I will be the timekeeper, and when candidates have 1 minute left, I will hold up a 1, and then when it's time to wrap up, I will go like that. After all the speeches have concluded, we will open up the voting for all of you online at approximately 4 p.m. To vote in this caucus, you must have met the criteria and registered by the deadline of this past Friday at 5 p.m. So if you did that, you will receive an email with a link to our secure online voting system. So we will begin with the East District, followed by the South, North, and Central. We have a candidate for City Council in the East District who has put her name forward, Allie Schachter, who will be nominated by Diana Arnell. So Diana, I will now turn the floor over to you for your nomination. Come on up.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Diana Arnell, and it is my honor to nominate one of my favorite Burlingtonians, Allie Schachter, for the East District seat on the City Council. I was fortunate to meet Allie when our children started kindergarten together at the Sustainability Academy, and we bonded over the challenging Burlington real estate market and the wild ride of buying a home here. It has always been clear to me how committed Allie is to our community. She and I discuss local issues. We share a commitment to ensuring that Burlington is a place where everyone, including our children, can be safe and thrive. Allie is one of those people who regularly volunteers for the school events and PTO. She shows up at soccer and baseball events with snacks for the kids. And she just makes a genuine effort to connect with everyone she meets. She also has a beautiful garden, and we have shared several plantings with each other over the years, which I think is a metaphor for the reciprocity and care that Allie brings to all that she does. She has a warm, outgoing personality, genuine compassion for all, and a great sense of humor. And also, like Vice President Harris, a great signature laugh. Over the years, Allie has not shied away from difficult topics or conversations about the issues of our day, and she's actually one of my favorite people with whom to process my own thinking on these topics. We don't always agree, of course, but her intelligence, her thoughtfulness, it has really earned my deepest respect. What impresses me most is the way that Allie approaches these conversations, not with an agenda, but with curiosity. Allie has the unique ability to listen intently and seek others' input, and she always does her homework. These are all qualities that I believe are necessary for a city councilor, and I have no doubt that Allie would apply those same engagement skills on the council and when talking to constituents. Allie also has the professional and educational background to excel as a city councilor. She earned an undergraduate degree from Harvard, her MBA from the University of Michigan, and has had a successful career in the nonprofit sector, including a decade of experience in affordable housing. Professionally here in Burlington, she has followed her values, her commitment to Burlington, and her love for the arts working as the Flynn Development Director. Allie is raising her 2 sons in our special city. She sees Burlington's potential and challenges and is eager to work with everyone to tackle urgent issues such as affordable housing, public safety, supporting families, mental health and addiction, and making Burlington a sustainable, livable city for all. I am grateful that Allie is willing to step up for our city, and I can't wait to vote for her on March 4th.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Diana, for your friendship and your nomination. Thank you to Andy, Becca, and everyone who helped put today's caucus together. And thanks to all who are joining us. My name is Allie Schachter. I'm the mother of 2 awesome kids, sitting right over there, who attend the Sustainability Academy, where I co-chair the PTO. I'm a proud downtown employee working in development at the Flynn. And it is with excitement and hopefulness for our city that I seek your support and nomination to serve as your Democratic candidate for the East District. Our beloved state has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. I spent much of my childhood on Grand Isle, and my husband Mike and I now live in Ward 1. We moved here as our older son was entering kindergarten, as Diana shared, because we wanted to raise our kids here in Burlington. Burlington's forward-thinking values resonate deeply with us. I grew up in a divorced family with 2 single parents who worked hard to provide for me and my sister. I saw firsthand how hard it was for them to make ends meet, and it worries me deeply that our city is increasingly unaffordable for working families. My mom taught me the importance of serving others through her decades-long career as a school counselor and therapist, and my dad has worked on sustainable energy and environmental issues since the 1970s. I grew up understanding the need for sustainable solutions in the face of a rapidly warming planet. And these concerns they shaped me so much that I majored in environmental science and public policy in college. I've devoted my professional career to the nonprofit sector, starting with housing and homelessness. I have direct experience with proven affordable housing strategies, Housing First, HUD-funded housing programs, and more. I'm eager to use my experience to craft effective solutions to our most pressing housing challenges. I also spent several years working to transform our country's child welfare system into one that is more racially just and family-centered. Far too many families, particularly families of color, are separated due to poverty, when in fact many of them just need a little more support to get by. While working in child welfare, I prioritized listening to those who were most impacted by certain harmful practices and co-creating just policies that give everyone the opportunity not just to survive, but to thrive. So, why am I running? The answer is simple. I love Burlington, and I'm deeply committed to this city. I love the ways in which our neighbors show up for each other. I love exploring our local businesses on Church Street. I love the beauty of Lake Champlain, and I'm so proud of the diversity of life experiences, identities, and backgrounds that make our community so unique and special. At the same time, as already has been discussed, we're facing serious challenges. We're grappling with an affordability and housing crisis, a shortage of police officers and community support staff, significant public safety concerns, increased drug use, the very real impacts of climate change, and a budget gap. We do not have a moment to spare, and we must address these issues with credible, actionable solutions that bring our community together. Too many of our neighbors are in unstable housing. Both renters and homeowners alike are experiencing untenable increases in housing costs. I know these affordability pressures personally, and I know many of my neighbors and friends in the East District do as well. As your counselor, I will ensure that we expand housing options and affordability through reestablishing our MOU with UVM, through thoughtful implementation of the new neighborhood code, and ensuring high-quality rental standards. We also need to rebuild public safety. I will work to ensure we have a police department that's properly staffed, trained, and supported, alongside adequate crisis response teams for mental health and substance use issues. A thriving Burlington requires a thriving downtown, and I know far too many community members who no longer feel comfortable venturing into the heart of our city. I will help rebuild a safe Burlington that is based on a foundation of trust, compassion, equity, and a comprehensive 21st century approach to public safety. While we have our challenges, there is much to celebrate in our remarkable city. We are a national beacon for what is possible when hearts, minds, and grit come together to build a brighter future for all. As your counselor, I promise to build upon our strengths, work in partnership with all of you, and get to work creating meaningful solutions. I hope to earn your support and your vote on town meeting day. Let the journey begin.
Thank you, Diana and Ally. Okay, now we turn to the South District. We have two candidates for the South District. The first candidate is Romeo von Herman, who will be nominated by Diane Gare. Diane, I will now turn it over to you for your nomination. Just a note for the public, Diane is on Zoom. So let's see. It looks like you're unmuted, Diane, so you should be able to take it away.
I'm unmuting and I was undoing the video, but maybe you don't want my video.
If you have video, we would love to have it on. I'm not sure if it's technologically possible. I know I saw you before.
I know, it's not unable to start video because the host has stopped it.
Okay, there we go. We got you.
Thanks. Yes, so thank you all to the Democratic Caucus and Becca for being our representative. Currently, we're so proud of you and you're doing such a good job of representing us. I'm here today to nominate Romeo von Herman, who has been part of our Ward 6 NPA, and I've gotten to know in that way. I suppose as a little bit of background, I'm an architect and a community planner and ecological designer, and so I come to what the city does from a perspective of the physical environment. And what I like about Romeo is that he has a public service sensibility and background, and so it brings aspects in a particular way to governance at the city level. He has a political science degree from the LA City College. Has been in, like many of us, hasn't always lived in Burlington. Some of us have been here 30 years. In Romeo's case, he's been here 4 years. He came to work for GMT, Green Mountain Transit, 4 years ago. His background in poli-sci gives him a very strong from working for GMT, you get sort of the frontline issues of vulnerable populations sort of coming in your front door and handling that on a daily basis. And then, of course, he's also on the Marketplace Commission. So he's dealing with the business owners and the public sector in a very different way. And I think that combination of very direct frontline service and more marketplace concerns and hands-on work are very useful to the guidance that our city needs at this point. Beyond public safety, I mean, all the concerns that everybody speaks about, I think, will be represented by our candidates, and that's why they're all so strong. But his life in public service and community response is something that I've responded to, and it shows in his work, even just helping manage and guide our NPA from month to month. Beyond that, he's been in the country 21 years. He, like others of us, have come from multiple places and brings that combination of knowledge and cultural experience, which I think is a strength to adding to the diversity of how we make decisions locally. And anything that I should add? I'm looking to my co-partner over here for other, I'm just proud to be able to nominate Romeo for this position, and I'm sure he will serve us well. And thank you so much for taking this nomination.
Thank you, Diane. Romeo, now we'll have you up for your remarks.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for the BTV Dems for putting this event together. Thank you, fellow residents, fellow South District residents, fellow Democrats. My name is Romeo von Herman, and I'm very excited to share my candidacy for the Burlington Democratic Party. And but before I do that, I want to thank Councilor Joan Shannon for her incredible 20-plus years of serving our city with distinction. Her contributions and knowledge to our city will sorely be missed. And the reason why I'm here is very clear. I have spent for the past 4 years, I know I haven't been here for 30 years, but for the past 4 years addressing local issues directly with our riders. I work for Green Mountain Transit, and I've listened to our riders, residents, merchants through different aspects of our city. And one thing that I've become very clear listening to everybody is how our city is charming, but yet has very difficult issues. First one being public safety and the drug crisis, the housing issue. So through my conversation and through my service through the Ward 6 NPA, I've also served on the Ward 8 NPA before we were redrawn to Ward 6. And through the Church Marketplace Commission, I've come to learn that we cannot address safety issues without having to acknowledge that when we have a problem and that we do realize that we are the problem and we're not willing to address it the way it needs to be addressed, that we acknowledge it first and then work from there. So since COVID has started, our city has often focused on issues that are unrelated to public safety, that are more or less related to issues that are happening abroad, and that is one of the things that I want to change in the council. Going back to public safety, I will give you an example of some of the stuff that I've done at Green Mountain Transit, and this will kind of give you an idea of what we're going to be doing in the council should I be elected. When I joined initially Green Mountain Transit and worked at the bus station, what I've noted is that there is a lot of drug sales that was happening at the bus station, a lot of overdoses, a lot of needles that was being left behind for us, a lot of infighting. And so after observing all that happening, I sit down with my management, with my colleagues, and we discuss on how best to address this, both compassionately, but also letting people know that these type of activities will be unacceptable. That has been very helpful to us. We went from collecting over 100 needles to now barely collecting, I'd say, every 3 months or so, 1 to 2 needles, or having no overdoses at the transit center. So it took a lot of hard work to get to that point, and a lot of building trust with our riders. Now, another thing that is happening here is affordable living issues in our city. Let's be honest, Burlington is very expensive to live, and I noticed that upon arrival. And this is not just for folks that are making paycheck to paycheck, and not just people who don't have a roof over their heads, but also people who are on a fixed income, people who are basically living off of their Social Security. So it is unfair to ask people who are basically on a fixed income to be paying more on their bills on a fancy projects that the city brings forth, and ask you to pay more from your income on these projects. Now, some of these items that the city could possibly asking for you in the future has a lot to do with the water rates, as well as any other projects that are out there, including rebuilding buildings that are not in good conditions. So I will personally vote no on any project that asks of you to pay more than your fair share. So another thing that I'm focused on beyond that is making sure that our downtown remains a valuable place to be, and also listen to our merchants as well to make sure that they have a safe place to work from and you're able to come and shop safely. I look forward to your vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Romeo. And a quick announcement. Oh, going to do that, yes. It is now 3:30 p.m., actually 3:31, so floor nominations for ward clerk and inspector of elections are now closed. Proceeding along with our regularly scheduled program, our second candidate for the South District is Buddy Singh, to be nominated by Becky Wasserman and Councilor Ben Travers.
Thank you, Becca. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Burlington Democrats, for putting on this great caucus. Before saying a few words about my good friend Buddy Singh, allow me to echo some comments made by Romeo and by Andy earlier, which is to thank Joan Shannon for her decades of service to the South End and to Burlington. I've been so grateful to have her as my seatmate on the City Council. Her knowledge and experience has been invaluable. And while her shoes will be impossible to fill, I first expect that I'll continue to hear from Joan in my service in the City Council, and welcome that. But also I'm very excited by the candidates that we have here today, in both Romeo and Buddy. And I'm here specifically to talk about Buddy. Buddy's family is amongst our closest friends here in Burlington. While serving as a city councilor, Buddy and his wife Lauren have become one of my foremost sounding boards on important issues before us. Buddy is truly tapped into the Burlington community, is always able to provide me a critical and fair assessment of where our community is at on important issues. He understands the opportunities and challenges before us here in Burlington, but most importantly, he is a chronic optimist. He sees the beauty in Burlington. He believes in Burlington. And I'm beyond excited to have Buddy in this race. To say just a few more words about Buddy, I'm excited to be joined here by my wife, Becky Wasserman, who will nominate Buddy for the South District seat. Becky?
Hello, my name is Becky Wasserman, and I'm very happy to be here to support my friend Buddy Singh. I first met Buddy and his wife Lauren in the fall of 2020 when our oldest daughter Lola started kindergarten at Champlain Elementary at the same time as their daughter Aviv. It was right when COVID started, and we were all trying to navigate uncertain times while sending our children to a new school. Aviv became Lola's first friend at school, and the Singhs immediately became an essential part of our village. During COVID, we all learned about the need for a strong community, and we quickly got to know that Buddy is someone who puts community first. He treats his friends and his neighbors like family and would drop anything to support them. We have relied on Buddy too many times to count over the years, whether it's at the many school events or sports activities that we attend each week. And it is very clear that he loves Burlington and that his commitment to his friends and community are his superpower. Over the past 2 years, I've indirectly learned a lot about what it takes to be a city councilor, and I know that patience and an openness to listening to others' opinions and being part of challenging conversations is part of that position. And I think these are, Buddy's traits are all things that will serve him well on city council. I'm as confident as I can be that Buddy will be an excellent representative for our neighborhoods and the Burlington community. And it is my honor to nominate Buddy Singh to be our next South District City Councilor. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky, and thank you, Ben. Thank you, Burlington Democrats. Thank you, Joan Shannon, for your years of service. I'm truly honored by this nomination and the potential to represent the South District. It has been a very busy week for me and my family. Many have asked why I've decided to run, and I'll be honest, this was not an easy decision. For over 30 years, I've been deeply connected to this community, working hard to make a meaningful impact in any activity that I took part in. Whether it's serving on the board of the Boys and Girls Club or serving as PTO president at Champlain Elementary, I've seen how much we can improve people's lives when we come together. And recently, I sat down with Ben and Becky to share my thoughts on this decision. And Ben said something that struck me. He said, "Buddy, if you do this, I promise we will make a difference." Those words have reaffirmed my belief that my years of service and experience could best serve this city as part of this council, because I truly love this place and the people here. I've been humbled by the support that I've received by so many who believe that I can lead with calm collaboration, stand firm by what is right, and bring people together to advocate for everybody's needs. My promise is to carry those guiding principles forward and always look towards making a difference. I've spent many years in Burlington as a young person right out of college trying to make my way, now sharing this great city with my family, my friends, and you, my neighbors. There are challenges before us, and I cannot sit here and claim that I have the answer to those problems or their solutions. They have eluded not just our city, but many others. But I do want to make a difference. I want to do everything in my ability to move the needle, to make life better for all of us who call Burlington our home. Whether you just moved here, whether you're a visitor or a longtime resident who wants to stay here living in this beautiful place. And how do we get there? It means working together, even if sometimes that has been hard for us. That means respecting one another by listening, by being a partner, collaborating, using our time and resources effectively and efficiently. That means valuing each other and those who work hard to preserve and steward this city and its people. Anything that is important is hard and difficult to achieve, but it is worthwhile. This city and its people are worthy and very capable, and that is why this is such an amazing place to call home. I want to leave you with something that I was reminded of over the holidays as my family came to visit. Everyone has their own unique perspective on Burlington. My sister, a teacher in Queens, couldn't stop talking about how she loved just sitting and looking at trees. Others in my family marveled at the lake as we walked downtown, while others talked about the beauty of the mountains, of course, the charm of Church Street, and how special it is that the university sits proudly on top of the hill. And since announcing for the run, I've heard from so many neighbors and community members. For some, Burlington is defined by the struggles they see. A family member navigating mental illness, a friend facing addiction and substance abuse, a neighbor dealing with both while trying to find a place to live, or a child having a tough time at school. For others, it's the relentless hard work of a friend running their small business. Everyone experiences Burlington through their own lens, shaped by their lives and stories. And that's what makes this community so vibrant and worth fighting for. Its complexity, its beauty, and its resilience. I cannot promise these struggles will go away if I'm elected. I promise to work hard, whether at times that's a struggle, but my hope is that it's a joy. I promise to be a listener, but honestly, my hope is to be your friend, because I want us all to see the beauty, that peace that my family saw right here before our eyes, which is this city, its people, Burlington. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Buddy. And now we will move on to the North District. We have incumbent Councilor Mark Barlow to be nominated by Representative Abby Duke. Abby, come on up.
Thank you, Becca and Mark, and Andy and everyone who put on the caucus. I first met Mark Barlow more than a decade ago, not as a politician, but as a community member and the father of two really nice kids who my kids looked up to. Since then, he's taken on other roles. He's been on the school board, he's been on the Parks Commission, and he's been on the city council. And I've always liked Mark, and I've always supported him, but over the years, I have only become more impressed with him, and I have been only more impressed with the work that he does. And I want to kind of highlight 4 reasons, 4 ways. One is his commitment to the community. He grew up in the New North End. He raised his kids there. He cares about how policies affect every member of the community, and you can see it in the way he interacts with other people and the way he interacts with policies. Number 2 are his mad analytical skills. He's been running a small tech business since 1999. He uses his business skills, his financial skills, to understand budgets, to understand financial implications, and to do very important work in helping to drive policy in our city. Number 3 is his authenticity. All of these different roles, he's always the same guy. There's no grandstanding, there's no attention seeking. He does the work, he understands the issues, he talks to people, and he does the very best that he can. And number 4, and I think this is the most important, is his focus on relationships and on collaboration. He talks to everybody. He talks and builds relationships with people who agree with him, and most importantly, with people who disagree with him. And he puts a priority on having strong working relationships with everybody. He knows that collaboration and compromise is where our best work comes from. I'm pleased to nominate Mark to run as a Democrat. And I will say that there's nobody that I think would do a better job of representing our neighbors and our families in the New North End in the city. So thank you for serving the city, and I'll turn it over to Mark.
All right. And I realized I didn't introduce Abby properly. I should have said nominating Mark is State Representative Abby Duke. Thank you for your service. And now, Mark, we will have your remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Andy, Hannah, and all the other volunteers who are putting this caucus on today. Thank you, Abby, for nominating me. That was really nice of you to say those things. And thank you, Burlington Democrats, for allowing me the opportunity to ask for your support this afternoon. I'm Mark Barlow, and for almost 4 years, I've served as North District's independent city councilor. It's been my privilege to serve the New North End community where I grew up, raised my family, and have always called my home. Throughout my 2 terms, I've had friendly and productive relationships with everyone on the council, but I've had especially strong working relationships with Democratic councilors. Throughout my 2nd term, I've caucused with the council Democrats, and since April, I have chaired those weekly Democratic caucus meetings. So as I run for re-election in 2025, I want to make it official and seek the Democratic Party endorsement on the ballot this year. Thank you. As a Democrat, I will continue to put policy ahead of politics, and you have my commitment that I will continue to use the same tools I've always used when making policy decisions: common sense, data, collaboration, and compromise. As we enter 2025, Burlington faces a number of significant challenges. We continue to experience the intertwined crises of homelessness, drugs, and crime plaguing our city and especially our downtown. For decades, Burlington had a reputation as one of the greatest small cities in the nation, and now we're on the national news for our problems. As a result, people are shopping, dining, and visiting less, and our local businesses are struggling. Affordability remains a top concern for many residents, with rising housing costs, taxes, and fees making it unaffordable for many to stay here and for others to move here. We are rebuilding our police department far too slowly, and we must find ways to accelerate that hiring effort while retaining our current officers. Hiring more police officers is critically necessary for us to make headway on some of the other challenges we have in the city. And lastly, Burlington continues to face serious fiscal issues. Expenses have grown faster than revenue, and the administration has told us there's an $8 to $12 million general fund budget gap that needs closing for FY26. The only way to do that is to increase revenue or decrease expenses or both. These are just a few of the big challenges we have before us. I think everyone in city government agrees on the nature of these challenges, but where progressives and Democrats sometimes disagree is on the solutions to them. I will continue to lean into the hard work and difficult decisions required to confront and address these issues, and I'm confident other council Democrats will as well. As we begin 2025, there's an increasing sense of urgency to make better progress on these challenges. With your support tonight and again on town meeting day, I'm committed to continuing this work and will continue prioritizing making Burlington the vibrant, safe, and affordable place we all want it to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, and I will just add a personal note that I have so enjoyed serving on the council with Mark Barlow and really appreciate his leadership, knowledge, and dedication as well, and look forward to more. So now moving on to the Central District. We have received notification that the only candidate to file a timely notice of nomination in the Central District has withdrawn. And under the Burlington Democratic Committee bylaws, in the absence of a successful nomination at the caucus, the executive committee is now charged with selecting a nominee. So the executive committee will take that under advisement and invites any interested potential candidates to contact the chair, Andy Voda. So in other words, less legalese, stay tuned for more on this one. And now we will move to any floor nominees for ward clerk and inspector of elections.
We have Ward 7, Robert Bristow Johnson for inspector of election.
Ward 7, Robert Bristow Johnson for inspector of election. Do we need a second or anything? Okay, great. All right, so now we will wrap up and move on to the voting portion. It is just after 4:10. So thank you everyone for participating today. Thank you for our candidates, our nominators for taking time out of your Sunday to be with us. And I hope you all are as inspired as I am by the dedication and caring of the group of people that you heard from tonight. These really are not easy jobs, as I know as well myself, and I'm ever grateful that there are those among us who have the courage and the dedication to step up and serve. I will now close the speaking portion of the nominating caucus and move to the voting period. Andy, do you want to come up and give these instructions, or
No,
shall I
that's okay.
continue?
I just want to say it's 3:48 and the ballots will go out at 4 p.m. That clock is wrong.
Oh, the clock in here is wrong. Sorry, everyone. Yes. In case you couldn't hear Andy, it's 3:48 and the ballots will go out at 4 p.m. I thought that was awfully fast. So, some details for you all. Any of you who registered will, right at 4 p.m., receive an email with a link to our secure voting system after this meeting has ended. You will then have a 90-minute period from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. to submit your vote. The end of the voting period will be the official close of this nominating caucus. If you have trouble or you don't receive your ballot, contact us at 802-242-1871 or email burlingtondems@gmail.com. We will announce the results on the btvdems.org website. And so at this time, we will end our live stream. And thank you, everyone, for being here with us, and good night.